back at it with another video for you guys, and I am back with some more One Piece anime episode review for you guys. Man, in this Wano arc, when it comes, well, the entire Wano arc as a whole has been good. Well, I guess unless your Grand Line reviews, I was just gonna throw that out there if you don't understand. He made another complaint another few weeks ago. I'm not gonna bring it up. But the way they've adapted this anime adaptation for this arc has been phenomenal. I haven't read the manga of the Wano arc. I really haven't because I'm an anime only, but I guarantee you from what I've been seeing from, the manga people, I've been, I guess you can say, watching and reading this, series, and then they're reading obviously what they see from the manga, and then they see it being adapted, and you have some people saying like this is some of the best content we've gotten in like crazy good stuff. Like, dude, this episode really was a good, very good episode. And when they have Rodger finally get to the rap tail or lap tail, and he's just laughing. They play the very first ending, Memories. The very first ending of One Piece to that scene. And I was like, it took me a while to remember that. And I was like, wait, what's this song? I heard the song before. I heard the song. And it's like, oh, I know what this song means now. So, it was really freaking good. It was a really good episode. So anyways, let's get into this episode as it's almost about to end the Rodger portion of the backstory and stuff like that. Now, this is One Piece anime episode 968. Now, the Rodger Pirates, they end up going to Wano to be able to find the island of the One Piece. Now, Shanks is carrying some barrels or some stuff, and then he sees Toki collapse, and she passes over. Essentially, Crocus says that the reason why Toki collapsed was mostly because of fatigue. And two, she tells Oden, like, look, man, we're close to frickin' Wano, and she's been following you on this frickin', journey of yours overseas. Well, I think it's best for you and it's best for her to stay in Wano and just let her live there. Otherwise, there's a chance she could legit die from, how much she's been traveling and stuff like that. Now, don't ask me the logistical, elements in that, because it kind of makes no sense. Like, okay, she is just tired. It seems like, oh, she must just have a high fever and she just might need to rest a bit. I don't see how being overseas would make it to the point where she could end up dying, but okay. I guess maybe just too much stress built up. It could be another thing, too much stress to worry about your kids on a pirate ship and all this other hecticness going on, obviously being chased by the Marines and stuff like that. I'm guessing that's the only reason why, but okay, fine. Anyways, what happens is, she'll have to go to stay on Wano with Momonosuke and Hiyori. Inuarashi and Nekomamushi say, look, Oden, don't worry about us. We'll accompany her and stuff like that. Now, Oden's like, bro, I can't do that. She's my wife. I have to stay with her. She's got our kids, and stuff like that. And then that's when Toki gets up, grabs Oden, and she reminds him, like, you said you wanted to get out of Wano because you felt so restrictive and you felt, closed in and stuff like that. And you can clearly see that he did well. We knew he felt that way, but obviously at the same time he's very caring of his wife and everything. And essentially, she says, look, you stay with the Rodger Pirates. Otherwise, if you don't, I will dissolve our marriage. Essentially saying, I'm going to divorce um, from you. And I'm like, wow. Yeah, Mr. Odin, please do not piss off your wife. Just go with the Rodger Pirates. Because I think Toki knows how much this means to Odin in terms of finding this last island. I think it means a lot to him. I think she knows it means a lot to him to find this last island, which is the island of the One Piece Laugh Tale. And she knows how he felt about Wano when he first came there. But, I understand, and he's willing to respect her wishes and stuff like that. Now, we go back to the Curry region. We see, a much older Kinemon and more of these scabbards. They eventually see the ship. They go over there. They see Odin. They essentially meet Odin and Toki, Hiyori, and Momonosuke. And essentially, I like the fact that they already started calling Toki their lady or my lady or something like that. So definitely the respect is there. Everything. Now, Odin tells the Scabbards that, look, he's gonna be gone for a little bit longer, and stuff like that. And they're like, wait, what? You can't freaking leave yet, and stuff like that. And then that's when you have freaking Kinemon, but like, wait, Odin, and it's too late as he walks away. And you see over in the paneling one. They have one panel in the episode where they just zoom in on one of the built factories there, and then they have, I guess you can say, they have Rodger on his ship, not Rodger, Odin on Rodger's ship, just looking down, all like, I guess, grim and everything, and you can clearly see. Hold on, guys. Is that okay? Good. My recording was freaking out. If you saw a little cut and stuff like that. So. Yeah. Anyways, as I was saying, you see this one shot of Odin just looking down as the ship's sailing away from Wano, and you see the legit factories in the background, and you just have Odin like, that day I knew something was going on in Wano, that, Wano was different for various reasons, and he goes on saying, like, if I had looked back, I might have not stayed with the Rodger Pirates. I might have went back to Wano. So it's very crazy to see that he saw what was going on in Wano. Clearly the changes have started with going on in Wano, with the fact that, Orochi is doing his little scheme. Now, I don't know if there was Orochi building the factories and everything. And heck, I don't even know if Kaido is already there. I don't know, to my knowledge, if Kaido is already in Wano, and fudge, the Rodger Pirates just passed him by. Because if that's the case, that's a very much missed opportunity. Even though Rodger would be much more weaker, I can envision Rodger would probably be stronger than Kaido at this point in time. So yeah, it's very freaking interesting. Now I understand for Rodger's case, he's on borrowed time, so it's like he doesn't have time to maybe fight and stuff like that and try to save a country or something like that. So yeah, it's very freaking interesting to see that maybe the one time Odin could have a chance to maybe change things up, he could have said, hey Rodger, can we wait just a few minutes? There's something going on in my country that I do not like. I feel like next week when he comes back for the first time permanently, it's gonna be something where he's probably gonna regret it and say, damn, I probably should have taken care of this thing when a few weeks ago, stuff like that. So yeah. Anyways, and then that's when you also, before we get to the next thing, that's when you see, the Scabbard's like, what? Odin, wait! And they're all in tears, and they know something's going on, because even Odin makes mention, like, what's going on with your clothes? They look all raggedy, not like, dignified and respectful like I thought you guys used to be. And then that's when they were about to go into their whole spiel, like, dude, Wano's changed, And I guarantee they probably were about to say, like, yo, Kurozumi Orochi is the Shogun. And you'd be like, what? So yeah, now we cut over to back to the old lady that essentially is manipulating Orochi, essentially made Orochi the person he is today. And essentially the old lady tells Orochi that Odin has a wife and 2 kids because she can see the future. And I'm like, uh-oh, that's not good. She goes on to say that she goes on to say that Odin's child will cause him pain, which is a reference to Momonosuke and what is happening now. And essentially Orochi's like, what the hell? That's not a good thing, you damn current Kozuki clan. So obviously that's going on there, and that's definitely not good. So definitely not good at all. Now, what happens next in the next scene? Sorry, my goodness, I'm thinking. Anyway, I'm blanking out. So what's going on? What happens in the next scene in this episode is the fact that Odin and the Rodger Pirates go to Zoe, thanks to giving the Viva card from Inarashi Nekomamushi to find the exact location of Zoe, and they find Zoe. Odin can actually hear Zunisha's voice because we already know that because members of the Kozuki clan can hear Zunisha's voice and essentially control Zunisha as well. So it's, again, another things tying up from what we've seen in past arcs and stuff like that. Now the Rodger Pirates get up there, they give this letter to Duke Genghis Khan, which I find it freaking hilarious. It's essentially a diluted meaning of Genghis Khan, Genghis Khan, and it's funny enough, I think his design looks similar to Genghis Khan. So yeah. Anyways, they find the last road poneglyph, and Odin actually sees the Kozuki crest and is like, oh, so it is true that, the Minks and the Kozukis are tied by brothers and stuff like that, are essentially coat in arms. Then, which is another more, I guess you can say, you can put this as a gut punch for people who couldn't take the Pedro death scene really well. Well, you get your gut punch here, where essentially you get the scene reenacted, like we got back near Whole Cake Island when Pedro talked about meeting Rodger and everything. We get a full scene, how a much younger Pedro asked Rodger to join his crew, and we have Rodger be like, hey, not now, at a later date, when, you'll be able to help me and stuff like that. And I was like, bruh, really? You just had to make me cry? No, I didn't cry, but I'm like, Toei, you're petty for that. You didn't have to. I'm like, I know you had to do that, but really? That death hit me hard, man. Anyways, it was cool. So, like I said, this entire backstory with the Rodger portion of the story, where you just go to these familiar places the Straw Hats had already been to, and it's like, dog, seeing some old characters we haven't seen in quite a while, and even some characters that are dead currently that are alive at this time, it's like, oh boy, come on. So yeah, now we see a part where Rodger, he's starting to get weaker, he's starting to cough up blood because his illness has definitely affected him, which means the end of the line is coming soon for him. And we also see Buggy can end up with a high fever, and then essentially it makes him and Shanks leave Rodger's crew. I'm guessing for the rest till the crew disbands. So they do not go to the island of the One Piece. And it's funny because Rodger's like, but don't you want to come with us? And stuff like that. But then that's when Shanks tells Rodger, like, look, we'll get there on our own ships. We'll get to that one missing island on our own time. So, I guess you can say you can find that as a driving factor for Shanks in the aspect of being a pirate. The fact that he wants to find the island of the One Piece as well, because he wants to follow in the footsteps of his captain. My thoughts on, even though they didn't show Shanks and Buggy much, they were very two good characters. It's still shocking to know that even though Buggy's a completely comedic character, I will say he can honestly say like I was on Gold Roger's crew. I was, one of his crewmates, and maybe tell him maybe a little white lie saying I was his best man and stuff like that. That would get more of those followers on his side too. But it's crazy to see that. Now for Shanks I understand, but it's still crazy for me that Buggy was on Gold Roger's crew. Even though he was a completely comedic character, it's just funny to see, like, even though he's a bumbling pirate himself, to say, like, at the end of the day, he can say, like, I was on Gold Roger's crew. Now, I didn't see the One Piece with him at all, but I was on the Pirate King's ship, literally. I was on the King of the Pirate ship, like, dog. It's crazy too, and that's why also Shanks is very well respected within his crew too, because he took some inspirations from Rodger as well. I do wish, I guess we saw a scene of Rodger passing down the hat to Shanks. It would have been funny because he got the hat from Rodger, and then Shanks gave the hat to Luffy. So it's very interesting and stuff like that. Now, after that, we get some, newspapers flying down, and essentially the world finds out about Rodger traveling around the world for the first time in history. And that's when, people start giving him the title, giving him the name King of the Pirates and stuff like that. And that's became a huge, huge thing going out and stuff like that. And, this is when we get the scene where Odin's writing in his journal. He's essentially saying, like, after they essentially got to the island of One Piece, they found out about the truth of the One Piece world. So everything about the One Piece world, the history, everything. They found out everything about that. He even makes a mention that Wano at one point was connected with the rest of the world, which I'm only guessing what happened in the Void Century. And I'm guessing when the world government came in and kind of, I guess, took out 20 countries, Wano was like, yeah, I think we're going to be an isolated country on our own. So leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. And stuff like that. And again, we get the very amazing scene where Rodger laughs as they're doing this. They're playing, like I said at the start of the episode, the very first opening of One Piece, Memories. Again, at first it sounded like, I'm like, are they gonna play We Are again? No, they didn't play We Are. We played the first ending, Memories, and something about it just felt so damn good. And honestly, credit to Toei, dude. Credit to Toei. They really wanted to sink this in and make you like, okay, we're gonna make you guys understand the matter of this backstory, and we're gonna make you understand how good this Wano arc is gonna be, the backstory. And it's like, dog, I can't wait to see the future stuff in the backstory. When it comes to the tragic end of the backstory, sadly, because that's how every One Piece backstory ends. So it's just like, it was a great scene. It was a great scene where they're just playing this song, and you're just probably just sitting there in your seat or somewhere, wherever you're sitting at, watching this. You're probably shedding a tear, like, good God. Like, honestly, this episode was a 10 out of 10, to be honest. Like, it was a 10 out of 10. Like, the way they just had this episode, and then the way they ended off was just utterly perfect. Again, just like with Lodestar, they just have the Rodger Pirates look like just surrounded on the ground of the island they're on, and just have everything clouded, fogged out, because they're not going to show you what the island looks like till the Straw Hats get there. So yeah, now Rodger says he wished he lived in the era with Joy Boy, and he makes a mention of saying that how could you leave this treasure? So it seems like the One Piece is connected to Joy Boy, which we all know Joy Boy lived at the time in the Void Century. Very friggin' interesting to see and hear that. So definitely the One Piece is a treasure that's been, been a thing since the Void Century, and it makes sense. Like, I guess in Joy Boy's case, hide this crazy treasure, or whatever it is, on a mysterious island that nobody can reach unless they read the poneglyphs. and they can, you know, find the location. That's the only way you're gonna get to this treasure and stuff like that. So yeah. And then that's when Rodger names the island Laptail and stuff like that, or Raftail. And that's where the episode ends off. So next week, more than likely it's gonna be, well, you know, it is. Next week is the disbandment of the Rodger Pirates, because you can see in some of the stuff and some of the stills, seeing most of the crew members of Rodger Pirates crying, because I'm guessing they're gonna show the Rodger execution here. And then 2, Odin will finally return to Wano permanently, only to find out that things definitely aren't what they used to be when he left with Whitebeard. And it's still crazy to see, you know. Again, I'll probably talk more about this in detail next week, but it's like, damn. And this guy probably doesn't have no way to get in contact with, I guess you can say, Whitebeard or Izo to come back and maybe have Whitebeard help and assist, you know, Odin in trying to retake Wano back. Which we all know what's going to happen is, we all know that Orochi in the end is going to have the last laugh alongside Kaido, and stuff like that. So, you know, again, I'll probably talk more about it in detail, even near the end of the backstory. It's like, man, Odin probably had Odin had only probably poured in time where he can maybe save Wano for the better, and, you know, became the Shogun officially, and maybe said, hey people, listen, I'm gonna be gone for a while, but I'll be back, and then resume. It's probably that one time when the Rodger Pirates were there, and if like I said, if Kaido was on in Wano, that might have been the only time they could have probably stopped Kaido, forced him out, and stopped Orochi. So sadly, it's not going to end well in One Piece backstories because of certain decisions that were made. But it was a really great episode, definitely a 10 out of 10 episode. Very much enjoyed it. Can't wait to see the startingness of the tragicness to this backstory, because I want to see how really this ends, and, you know, how did the Kozuki clan lose, and, you know, how is it when freaking Orochi and Kaido came together, be connected into power to take over Wano, essentially. And then we'll finally get back to the present day storyline where, you know, we'll hopefully get to the Battle of Onigashima very much soon. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys catch another review from me. So if you guys like the video, leave a like, put in the comment section your thoughts on this episode, as well as hit that subscribe button to get more One Piece content. Till then, guys, I'm gonna get out of here. Hopefully you guys have a great rest of the day, and hopefully you guys have a great Easter Sunday. Until then, guys, stay safe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.